Hi everyone, good morning. Today is day 9 of our Catholic audio Bible reading series. And today we are continuing on in our series with chapters 20 and 21 of Genesis. So with that, I am going to get started in reading. And I'm glad to see you all here following along and listening. So in chapter 20, Abraham and Sarah at Gerar. From there, Abraham journeyed towards the region of the Negeb and settled between Kadesh and Shur. While residing in Gerar as an alien, Abraham said of his wife Sarah, "She is my sister." And King Abimelech of Gerar sent and took Sarah. But God came to Abimelech in a dream by night and said to him, "You are about to die because of the woman whom you have taken, for she is a married woman." Now Abimelech had not approached her, so he said, "Lord, will you destroy an innocent people? Did he not himself say to me, 'She is my sister'?" And she herself said, "He is my brother." I did this in the integrity of my heart and the innocence of my hands. Then God said to him in the dream, "Yes, I know that you did this in the integrity of your heart. Furthermore, it was I who kept you from sinning against me. Therefore, I did not let you touch her. Now then, return the man's wife, for he is a prophet, and he will pray for you, and you shall live. But if you do not restore her, know that you shall surely die, you and all that are yours." So Abimelech rose early in the morning and called all his servants and told them all these things. And the men were very much afraid. Then Abimelech called Abraham and said to him, "What have you done to us? How have I sinned against you, that you have brought such great guilt on me and my kingdom? You have done things to me that ought not to be done." And Abimelech said to Abraham, "What were you thinking of that you did this thing?" And Abraham said, "I did it because I thought, there is no fear of God at all in this place, and they will kill me because of my wife. Besides, she is indeed my sister, the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother. And she became my wife. And when God caused me to wander from my father's house, I said to her, 'This is the kindness you must do to me. At every place to which we come, say of me, he is my brother.' Then Abimelech took sheep and oxen and male and female slaves and gave them to Abraham and restored his wife Sarah to him. Abimelech said, 'My land is before you. Settle where it pleases you.' To Sarah he said, 'Look, I have given your brother 1,000 pieces of silver. It is your exoneration before all who are with you. You are completely vindicated.' Then Abraham prayed to God, and God healed Abimelech and also healed his wife and female slaves so that they bore children. For the Lord had closed fast all the wombs of the house of Abimelech because of Sarah, Abraham's wife." Chapter 21, the birth of Isaac. The Lord dealt with Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did for Sarah as he had promised. Sarah conceived and bore Abraham a son in his old age, at the time of which God had spoken to him. Abraham gave the name Isaac to his son whom Sarah bore him. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac when he was 8 days old, as God had commanded him. Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born to him. Now Sarah said, "God has brought laughter for me. Everyone who hears will laugh with me." And she said, "Who would ever have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children? Yet I have borne him a son in his old age." Hagar and Ishmael sent away. The child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast on the day that Isaac was weaned. But Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Egyptian, whom she had borne to Abraham, playing with her son Isaac. So she said to Abraham, "Cast out this slave woman with her son, for the son of this slave woman shall not inherit along with my son Isaac." The matter was very distressing to Abraham on account of his son. But God said to Abraham, do not be distressed of the boy and because of your slave woman. Whatever Sarah says to you, do as she tells you, for it is through Isaac that offspring shall be named after you. As for the son of the slave woman, I will make a nation of him also, because he is your offspring. So Abraham rose early in the morning and took bread and a skin of water and gave it to Hagar, putting it on her shoulder along with the child, and sent her away. And she departed and wandered about in the wilderness of Beersheba. When the water in the skin was gone, she cast the child under one of the bushes. Then she went and sat down opposite him a good way off, about the distance of a bow shot. For she said, do not let me look on the death of the child. And as she sat opposite him, she lifted up her voice and wept. And God heard the voice of the boy, and the angel of God called to Hagar from heaven and said to her, what troubles you, Hagar? Do not be afraid, for God has heard the voice of the boy where he is. Come, lift up the boy and hold him fast with your hand, and for I will make a great nation of him. Then God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. She went and filled the skin with water and gave the boy a drink. God was with the boy, and he grew up. He lived in the wilderness and became an expert with the bow. He lived in the wilderness of Paran, and his mother got a wife for him from the land of Egypt. Abraham and Abimelech make a covenant. At that time, Abimelech with Phicol, the commander of his army, said to Abraham, God is with you in all that you do. Now therefore swear to me here by God that you will not deal falsely with me, or with my offspring, or with my posterity. But as I have dealt loyally with you, you will deal with me and with the land where you have resided as an alien. And Abraham said, I swear it. When Abraham complained to Abimelech about a well of water that Abimelech's servants had seized, Abimelech said, I do not know who has done this. You did not tell me, and I have not heard of it until today. So Abraham took sheep and oxen and gave them to Abimelech, and the two men made a covenant. Abraham set apart 7 ewe lambs of the flock. And Abimelech said to Abraham, what is the meaning of these 7 ewe lambs that you have set apart? He said, these 7 ewe lambs you shall accept from my hand, in order that you may be a witness for me that I dug this well. Therefore that place was called Beersheba, because there both of them swore an oath. When they had made a covenant at Beersheba, Abimelech with Phicol, the commander of his army, they left and returned to the land of the Philistines. Abraham planted a tamarisk tree in Beersheba and called there on the name of the Lord, the everlasting God. And Abraham resided as an alien for many days in the land of the Philistines. So there we have it, chapters 20 and 21. And a little bit to unpack there. So we have in chapter 20 where Abraham once again kind of takes it into his own hands out of fear, asking Sarah to just say that Abraham is her brother and not her husband. So technically true that they are brother and sister, but they're also married. And God, who is all-seeing and all-knowing, another example of this, reaches out to King Abimelech and warns him in the dream, do not touch Sarah because she is a married woman. And he, God, apparently afflicted Abimelech and his wife and other women in his court, and would not allow them to have children because Sarah was there. And so Abimelech, being a good man, it looks like, returned Sarah and paid money, silver, to restore her honor, to show that she's vindicated, that nothing happened between them. And Abraham, as God had said he would pray for Abimelech. And so God restored Abimelech and the women in his court, including his wife, and they were able to have children on their own. In this time, having children, especially male sons, was such a great honor. It was so high there, where, throughout these chapters of the Bible, you'll see that women are shamed for not being able to have children, and especially male sons. And so this was why it was so important, Sarah, all these years and not being able to have children. Children are a sign of, the family continuing on, the birthrights, handing down from generation to generation. And so Abraham was afraid, and, they explained what had happened after this warning dream from God. And then Sarah does have the son, Isaac, and brings much joy and laughter, as God had said would happen. And then as soon as she had Isaac, she looks on at Hagar and Ishmael and wants to send them away. She, like many of us, when we commit sins and we do things that we're not proud of, later you can look on that, and that's how I believe Sarah was looking at Hagar and Ishmael. She had Abraham take her so that she thought she would have a son through her, and then Ishmael was born, and Hagar sort of mistreated her, the master, Sarah. She was a slave to Sarah and Abraham, and a servant. And so, Sarah had to look upon Ishmael and Hagar and realize her sins every day, and the mistake. And so she urged Abraham to send away Ishmael and Hagar, because they would not inherit what was rightfully Isaac's. And so, God also told Abraham, because he was having difficulty in doing that, Abraham was told by God, Ishmael will be taken care of. He will become a prince of a great nation, just as Isaac will, but he would not inherit God's covenant. That would be under Isaac and under Sarah and Abraham. So he sends away Hagar, and then he makes a covenant. Abraham makes a covenant with Abimelech, and there was a well. They tell a story about the well and how Abraham himself had dug the well, and so Abimelech, probably very wisely, was thinking, we need to have a covenant with Abraham. Abraham is protected by God, and if we want things to go well for us, we had better get on the right side with Abraham and God. And so they create this covenant with 7 lambs. And so there we have it to the end of chapter 21. Very interesting. Again, this is the Genesis creation narratives, the very beginning of the history, right from Noah and right into Abraham. And so we'll continue with this story in Genesis starting with chapter 22 tomorrow. And I appreciate that you have joined us for this Catholic Bible reading. Until tomorrow, I hope you have a good rest of your day.